Hi, good evening, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 519, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my studio. I am working on a new project tonight, and I'll show it to you in a minute. If you're joining me live, please say hello and let me know if you're crafting. Let me know if you have questions for me, and I'll wait a few seconds for people to make it over here from the pre-chat room and from getting their notifications. Hi, Holy. Thanks for joining live. If you end up watching the recorded version of the podcast, please also feel welcome to say hello. Hi, Joe. I know most people watch the recorded version, and I do get notifications for all of the comments that come in on the recorded video. So ask your questions. Leave your comments, anything that you want to say to me at all, and I will reply to those comments as well. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's waiting on a bead order for me to start making necklaces. Wonderful. Hi, Lily. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Jill. Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 519. Hi, Tammy from Texas. Oh, you're waiting on your crochet hook set. Wonderful. Some people started getting them today. Hi, Judy. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for joining live. Joe still needs to place an order. Great. Yes, happy Thursday. So I have decided to make a few hats, knitted hat patterns. I've got lots of patterns coming to you right now for the new crochet book, 52 Crochet Gifts, but not everybody that joins us for the podcast or that follows me on social media or that buys my yarn, not everybody is 100% crocheter. 100% crocheter. A lot of people are bi-stitchual like me, where they like to knit and crochet, and some people are just knitters. So I thought it would be fun to make up some quick projects that are knit, and besides, I wanted to make a hat for Marlin, which also made me start thinking about men's patterns. And men's patterns are a whole lot different to think about design-wise than women's patterns. I think that women's patterns are interesting and beautiful with lots of different textures and stitches and lace and lots of texture and color work, whereas men's projects, even though they're fun to make like that, I have found over the years that men prefer to wear things that are simpler. And yes, they obviously need different sizes as well. So a men's hat would be sized a little bit bigger than a woman's hat. That's one of the components. But the other thing is, if you really want them, and I'm speaking in general terms here, obviously there are men that like a whole variety of textures and styles, just like there are women that like everything across the board. But in general, I think that men prefer things a little simpler. So little more subdued colors, little more subdued stitch patterns. And so when I'm making, I know Marlin is especially particular about things being very simple. So for him, he likes simple neutral colors and he likes very simple stitch patterns. So a lot of the hats that I've made Marlin over the years have either been in 1x1 ribbing or 2x2 ribbing or just plain old stockinette. And so this pattern is kind of a riff on 1x1 ribbing, where I did the cuff or the brim in 1x1 ribbing, and then I'm doing a 4-round repeat of offsetting a 1x1 ribbing. And get a little further in my row here. Or I could stop right now and show you. So Lydia likes rugged and macho, something in, I didn't catch the rest of that. So it's going to be a very subtle stitch pattern, which is, once it's been blocked, it'll come out a little bit more like that. And hopefully you can see that it's a little shorter than an inch per repeat that's offset. So it's a 1x1 rib, but where the knit and where the purl is on that rib is offset. Can you see that? So like here's a little stripe, and then here's a little stripe. They're slightly offset. Yes, this is gray. That was the color that he chose. I'm using Be So Baby yarn, which is my DK weight 100% milk fiber yarn, which is amazing for hats for lots of reasons. A DK weight yarn is a nice medium body yarn for making hats that are neither too hot nor too thin for, you know, people that don't want things too warm. And it's still DK weight, so it works up pretty quickly. I'm using a size 5, 3.75 millimeter circular needles, and I'm getting about 5 stitches to the inch. Be So Baby yarn, even though it is made for baby projects and it's amazing for baby projects, it's also it's great for people with wool allergies, hypoallergenic. It is very soft, wonderful for chemo caps or for people with wool sensitivities or wool allergies. And in some of the more neutral colors, fantastic for men's hats as well. So the gray and the navy would be my first 2 choices for hats, like what I'm making for Marlin. I'm making them in navy and in gray. Joe, you don't like wool hats. You might like Be So Baby for a hat then. It's really soft and doesn't have any of that itch factor of a animal fiber yarn because it's 100% milk fiber. What is the trend for hats this year? I haven't heard of any outlandish trends. You know, I think just in general, I think anything goes. I have seen some slouchy hats, but I've seen some fitted beanies as well. When will I be creating a men's version of a hat? Don't know at the moment. Haven't even released the knit one yet, but probably after that. Yeah, I think that we can do some crochet patterns to maybe even mimic the textures of the knit patterns. I think that might be a fun challenge as well. And just like with the knit hats or the crochet hats, if we make them for men's sizes, they can easily be converted to make women's sizes as well. I would love this type of texture hat as well. I might like it in I think I would like it in Be So Bold yarn because I would like the wool and bamboo blend together, but I would also like a faux fur pom-pom on top. And I found this set of faux fur pom-poms for hats on Amazon, and I bought a whole bag of them, so I have a bunch of different faux fur type finishes. And whatever hat I make for myself next, I'm definitely going to be putting a faux fur pom-pom on it. This is going to be a man's hat. Yep, making it for Marlin. All right, hold on a second for me for a second here. Let me double check where I'm going. I gotta change my stitch pattern. And if I don't pay attention real quick, I'll end up having to unravel around back, and I know you guys can understand the need to focus on that for a second. All right, so I'm back to business. Yes, it is a nice color gray yarn. Thanks, Pamela. This is Be So Baby yarn in colorway platinum, and Be So Baby yarn is on sale right now for $3.99 a ball. And I would imagine that 1 ball would be sufficient for making most hats. But if you thought you were going to make something extra large or with lots of extra texture, you might want to add a second ball. They are 142 yards per 50-gram ball and $3.99 on sale right now. But what do I say? Maybe almost halfway done with the hat, and I've got a good amount of yarn left, so I'm pretty sure that I'll be fine with 1 ball. But I will not be able to tell you for sure until the hat's done. It is a great price. Thanks, Pamela. So if you want to stock up, go for it. Do I sell knitting needles? Not at the moment, Holly. I don't sell knitting needles at the moment. I am selling the crochet hook and tool kit right now, which comes with 11 crochet hook sizes from B 2mm all the way up to L 8mm. And it comes with a tape measure and scissors and a set of locking stitch markers. Got all of these, and it all comes in this really wonderful mesh storage bag with a zipper. It comes with the yarn threader with 2 sizes on it and the yarn needle as well. It basically comes with all the tools you would need on an everyday craft basis. And when I say everyday craft basis, I mean, yes, are there times when you need specialty tools for certain projects? Of course. But on an average day with just regular, your normal projects, you have every tool you need in this super convenient zippered bag. Do I have any men or teen sweater patterns right now? I do not. I definitely am interested in writing a men's pattern book. Now, here's a question for all of you. If I were to write a men's pattern book, could it be a combination of knitted and crocheted patterns, or would it need to be exclusively knit or exclusively crochet? Because personally, I would really love to combine the two of them into one book. And, excuse me, and include garments sized from like a men's small all the way up through big and tall sizes. I think it would be really important to include big and tall. Thank you for the blessings. Can't help it when I've got to sneeze, right? Thank you. Thank you for all the blessings, everybody. You're so sweet. All right, I am getting a mix of, actually, most people are saying they'd be okay with knit and crochet in the same book. I think I only saw 1 or 2 say they didn't want the crafts mixed. At least so far. How's my finger? Which one? My spider bite is almost completely healed. I have had a couple of cuts in the kitchen and a couple of burns in the kitchen in the last week. Just, I have been burning, what do you call it? Burning the candle at both ends, or burning the midnight oil. I've been working tremendously long hours this week, even by my standards. And so I'm just, making little mistakes here and there, like rushing in the kitchen. So I have a couple of burns on my hands, a couple of cuts on my hands. So I don't know if you're talking about those or the original spider bite, but everything's getting better. So thank you for your well wishes anyway. And in general, I'm just a klutz. It just is the way I am. Cranjeet received her shawl pins. Wonderful. Yes, protect my money makers. That is true, Holy. Thank you, Christy. Thank you for all the blessings from my sneeze. I appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, midnight oil or candle, especially when you're tired. I think that's when those euphemisms, it gets even harder for me to remember correct euphemisms. I don't know, I've always thought it was funny how badly I butcher them too. Yeah, spider bite is almost completely healed, and all of the other things that went along with it are 100% healed. Will I be making more herbal soaps? I don't know at the moment. You know what's great is while I'm to be able to knit, I don't need to look at my hands nearly as much for knitting as crochet. I'm able to read the comments so much better than normal right now. This is great. So keep your questions coming. Great questions. Also, let's keep talking about men's patterns for a minute. So what kind of men's patterns would you be looking for? I'm thinking that lighter weight yarns are probably preferred for men's patterns. Again, I'm going to speak in generalizations, but I feel like at least the men that I've known in my life, prefer lighter weight garments to really heavy garments. So I'm thinking that we would stay in the sport to DK weight for sweaters and vests, but then hats and scarves and fingerless mitts, stuff like that, we could do worsted weight. I also think that some men's bags, like a messenger bag, might be fun. Holy would like to see a fisherman sweater. Yeah, there's... This is going to be bottom up. I started with the brim, so it would go on like this. Can I get it on without this is so risky. I could be like pulling my stitches off my needles and crying in a minute, but I'm going to try to pretend and put it on. So I cast on here, and I did plain ribbing, plain 1x1 ribbing, and now I'm doing a 4-row repeat of offset 1x1 ribbing to give a very slight texture to a 1x1 rib. I'm trying to push the envelope. Marlon likes his hat super duper simple, and this just makes it a little more interesting as a knitter than having to do everything in stockinette. I know we as crafters like an interesting pattern, but we still really, when you're making gifts for other people, it is just as big a component. Let me say that in a different way. Enjoying to make it is important, whether it's for a gift or for yourself or whatever. But if your gift recipient is going to like it enough to wear it is such an important component, in my opinion. So knowing the style of when I did drop 2 stitches. So anytime you can be aware of the style of your gift recipient, I think it's wonderful to keep that in mind when choosing a pattern or a stitch pattern or choosing a yarn or choosing a color or any of that. Anytime. Did I just mess up my stitch pattern now too? Yep, so I've got to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. That's not too bad. That's the pitfall of talking and stopping mid-row to do something else. Once I established my stitch pattern at the beginning of the round, I had no problem talking. It's when you set your work down. So it's purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Let me just make sure I've got this right. Sorry. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Okay. Yeah, sometimes they can lead to new stitch patterns. Not generally once you're this far established though. I'm this far established in something that has a definitive pattern to it, so I think it's pretty important to stay on target at this point, especially since it's such a simple pattern. If it was a more elaborate pattern like elaborate lace, you might be able to fudge one mistake here or there, but this is a very definitive small offset pattern. I think well, I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't see it because of that reason too. I think it all depends on the mistake, right? You have to really weigh each one and figure out, is it worth it to back it up and fix it, or is it good enough to keep going? I know that everybody has different preferences on that. Some people can't stand the idea of a mistake in their work. I'm not in that category, actually. If I think that a mistake can be overlooked pretty easily, I won't go back and unravel my work, knitted or crocheted. Where are you guys at? Who is adamant about fixing their work, and who is okay if something works? So I know there's definitely two different categories. Some people are fine. Some people are true perfectionists. Yes, this is the baby yarn. This is Be So baby yarn in colorway platinum, and I'm making a men's hat with it. The Be So Baby yarn is DK weight milk fiber yarn, which is absolutely fabulous for hats, not just for babies, but for hats for people of any age. It's great for chemo caps because it's hypoallergenic and super soft. Great for men's hats, great for anybody, hats or any type of project for people who have wool allergies. And it is DK weight, so it's a little thicker, which means you can make things quicker. So Joe, you're in the middle too then. So if it's not bad enough to bother you, you might ignore a mistake. Whereas some people, no matter how minor the mistake is, they will fix it regardless of whether it will be seen by anybody or not. And it's just a personal preference. Let's see, I can't see the name. Sterling, somebody Sterling had to rip back 20 rows in a lace shawl. Did you have a lifeline, or was that the type of project that made you look into lifelines after that? I find a lot of people don't use lifelines or don't use stitch markers until they come across a mistake that could have been avoided by stitch markers and or lifelines, and then end up using them because of that. I know I tend to avoid lifelines just because, I don't know, I guess some reason I like to live on the edge. And, you know, I actually don't have too much trouble fixing my mistakes, but anybody that asks me about lifelines, I absolutely encourage them, especially if you're not confident about fixing mistakes or not very good at unraveling your work back, which can be a huge skill set that takes time to learn and takes time to get good at, in knitting especially, where if you don't have that skill set, it's so much easier to just add a lifeline. For those of you that don't know what a lifeline is, it's where you add a thread to the loops of any given row or round of your knitting. So the mistake that people make when they're adding a lifeline is knitting it into a row or a round. That's not what you do. You take a yarn needle or something like a yarn needle and you slide that loop into the loops of the work. So right now I would take a separate piece of yarn, preferably a high contrast color, so a color very different from the color I'm working with right now, and I would take it, thread it onto my yarn needle, and I would loop it into all those loops all the way around, making sure the yarn is longer than the circumference or the length of what I'm adding it to, and then tie it off loosely so that it doesn't manipulate your stitches at all. And then if for some reason you make a giant mistake and you need to unravel back, you can pull your work completely off the needles, unravel down, and your yarn will stop on that. All those loops will stop on that lifeline like they're on a knitting needle. So it stops it from unraveling, and then you can go in and manually pick up each of those loops or stitches that are stuck from unraveling further because of that lifeline. With lace yarn, some people even use dental floss for a lifeline. I've heard of that before as well too. So yeah, it can be very, very helpful to stop, to help you go back and unravel knitting. Ooh, I did not catch that whole comment. It was a long one. If I don't get to your comments, please always feel welcome to repeat them, especially repeat them in the recorded version of the video, because then I have the ability to read it slowly and reply to it. Yeah, Pamela, it definitely depends on the size and the severity of the mistake. I am knitting a men's hat for Marlon in a subtle stitch pattern in Be So Baby yarn in colorway platinum on size 5 or 3.75 millimeter circular needles. I believe these are 18 or 20 inch circulars, and I'm just going to take around one ball of yarn, possibly dip into the second one, but Be So Baby yarn is on sale for only $3.99 a ball right now. So great time to stock up. It's great for baby projects, for hats for people with wool sensitivities, chemo caps, so great for charity work as well. I'm definitely making, I started this hat last night after dinner. Speaking of dinner, did anybody join us for the cooking podcast tonight? Marlon and I made chicken and rice casserole with artichokes and a mustard lemon garlic sauce and baked the whole thing in the oven. Then made a honey mustard vinaigrette for the salad. And oh my goodness, that was so good. I think Marlon would like a vat of that honey mustard vinaigrette. I watched the playback of the end of the video because I have to go back and edit videos to add links. I add a link to his music YouTube channel so that anybody that wants to see his music can find him. And as I was watching, I end up having to watch the last minute of the videos in order to add the links to videos and links at the end. And oh my gosh, Marlon was just devouring the food. And I was laughing because, there's only so much that, how do I say this? Teenagers don't fake stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if I told him, I said, Marlon, the food tastes terrible, but pretend like it tastes good. You can't get a teenager to do that. So when I was watching the playback, and he's like devouring the food, I was like, what a great testimony to this recipe. Like, he makes it look like it was just too good to resist. And I don't know, I'm laughing again telling you, but I laughed watching the playback. I was like, dang, he was really hungry. Thank you, Carrie. I'm so glad you enjoy watching me cook. I just think if you're going to teach cooking, you need to teach it in real time. I watch the food channel videos all the time, and I know how to cook, so I watch them for other inspiration. But when I watch them and I think about if you were really learning how to cook, you can't learn how to cook for real watching that stuff. It's all condensed, and that's fine. It's what they have to do for the show. But if you're truly learning how to cook from the beginning, you really need to see how it actually happens in real time. How do you juggle watching something, making sure the temperature's reaching the right degree on the meat? How do you make sure that the salad doesn't get soggy because you didn't toss it in the dressing too soon before the meat's done? I mean, how do you get all that stuff to happen in real time without things already prepared or already partially cooked? So that's one of the reasons why I thought my point of view was interesting enough to do the videos, is because I really want to show people that it is possible to cook healthy and homemade within a short period of time on a weeknight. Yeah, he makes it look like I'm starving him the rest of the day. You're right. He literally just devoured that plate. It was hilarious. So if you haven't watched the video yet, heads up for the last 2 minutes of the video, and I'm pretty sure that you'll laugh right along with me. It's just adorable. I did make a casserole tonight. I made a chicken, rice, and artichoke casserole in the oven, without adding cream of canned soup. I think, casseroles are notoriously unhealthy because of all the hidden fats that you have to add into them with all those cream of whatever soups. So I thought it was really interesting to show a healthier version of a casserole tonight. Pamela, don't be sorry. Just like with the Create, Share, Inspire podcast, every time those live videos are done, they get converted to a video. And so you can go back and watch it anytime you want. It would be the previous video before this one. Yeah, Marlon can definitely cook himself. It'll be really fun. This is his first time on camera too. So what was today, our 4th episode? That's his 4th time on camera. So as he gets more comfortable with the camera, I would imagine we could get him in front of the camera more often too. And maybe I can be teaching him how to cook. Wouldn't that be one, you know, actually guiding him to do the actual cooking and prepping? That would be fun. He is doing great. Thank you, Lisa. I tell him that every night when we're done, but I really mean it. He's really doing fantastic, and he's paying attention to asking people's questions. He's asking great questions too, which I think is fantastic, which means he's interested and also learning. So, yay! I tell you, he has no interest in knitting and crochet though, but that's okay. If I can teach him how to cook so that he's not one of those people, you know, forced into fast food every night when he moves out one day, no time soon, I hope. That would be such a win for me if I could teach him how to use the grocery store and eat sensibly at home. I'm trying, Judy. I'm not perfect, just like every other parent out there, but I am trying to do a good job. Pamela, your son cooks at home too? That's wonderful. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, he's doing well on camera. I'm impressed. Yeah, he's really passionate about his music career right now. You know, he was very passionate about his tennis career, and you know, he had great work ethic and great passion for what he was doing then. And now that he's retired from that after 7 years, he's delving right into a new career with music, and you know, super passionate, great work ethic. I couldn't be more proud of him. Absolutely. Thanks everybody for the nice comments about Marlon. I appreciate it. Thank you, Millie. Yeah, you know, his tennis career kind of reminds me of my modeling career. I did that for several years as a teenager as well, and retired from that and moved on to my next, so that's fine too. Well, with any luck, we will have a pattern for this hat soon. Yes, you can hear his music. He has a YouTube channel called Seltzer Beats. I have a link to his YouTube channel on the cooking video that we just did an hour before we did this podcast. But if you're interested, I can put a link to his music channel in this video description as well. But if you search Seltzer Beats on the YouTube search bar, it should come up right away. It's his channel. Yes, change is good if you're not happy. You know, and sometimes you play something out to its full term, and 7 years was the full term for his first career, and that's okay too. He learned so much. He learned so much about hard work and dedication and focus and work ethic. All great stuff. Thanks, Bill. From your lips to God's ears, Sherry. I hope so. Does anybody have any more questions? This has been great questions tonight, and I've been able to answer them so quickly because my eyes could stay focused. Yeah, I had a funny feeling about that one, Judy. Too bad. Too bad I can't get nice compliments without them going sour or sideways. Oh well. Thank goodness for moderators. Hi, Tennessee Rose. Hi, Maria. Hi, Edna. Luna doesn't knit, just crochet. It's okay. I know, Judy. Sometimes I just feel hopeful that one of them's going to be nice. And you know what? We have had some nice people come through here that I am making a men's hat right now. I'm making a hat with some very specific specifications from Marlon. Marlon likes very simple hats, not a lot of texture, not a lot of fuss or muss to the design. And in the past, I've made him stockinette hats, I've made him ribbed hats, and this time I modified a 1x1 rib pattern to make it a 4-round offset 1x1 rib pattern, which, you know, there's that fine line between making it an interesting pattern so the knitter enjoys making it and making it the type of design that the end user or gift recipient will actually enjoy and wear. Yes, it's going to be a beanie. That is correct. And it's in Biso Baby Yarn and colorway Platinum. Biso Baby Yarn is on sale for only $3.99 a ball right now. This is colorway Platinum, and I'm getting 5 stitches to the inch on a size 5 or 3.75 millimeter set of knitting needles. No, Maria, this is knit. This is not crochet. Lydia loves the new cooking show. Wonderful. I'm so glad. Thank you. Yes, I do know how to make socks. Sure, I could teach that eventually too. Thank you, Tennessee Rose. I love the hat too. Thanks, Cranjeet. I'm very excited about the hat as well. If I didn't have anything else to do tonight, I would definitely try to finish it. But Marlon and I are off to the gym after the podcast here, and then we'll be coming back here, and maybe it's possible I'll have, I don't know, I don't think I'll knit after that. It's going to be a long night. It's been a long day. Is there a sneak peek cowl on the purple dress? Ooh, that is a sharp eye there, whoever said that. It sure is, and that's all I'm going to say, but it's amazing, and I can't wait to show it to you when I can, hopefully in the next week or two. It is one of the upcoming projects from 52 Crochet Gifts, and it uses 1 ball of Biso Toasty, that's colorway Aqua. It is so gorgeous. It's a hooded cowl, and it has the most gorgeous, simple, edging on it too. You're going to love it. Anyway, oh, we're out of time. I'm sitting here knitting and yakking away, but so glad you all could take time out of your evening to spend time with me. Would anybody like to pick a number, 6 or 7, and we will randomly pick a quote real quick before I change my clothes and head to the gym? 7. Carrie says 7, so we'll grab number 7. Ooh, this is a good one. I always love Thomas Jefferson quotes. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal, and nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. So true. You can only, what's that other one? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. This is just so powerful and such a contrast of both very accurate things, because when you're ready to do something and your attitude is correct, nothing can stop you from doing what you want to do. And if you're trying to help somebody, if they're not ready to do what you want to help them to do, there is nothing in the world you can say to get them to where they need to go. And that's a really frustrating and difficult lesson to learn, but the earlier you learn it in life, the easier it gets a little bit, I guess. It's still hard though, when you watch somebody that you can't help. Anyway, thank you to Thomas Jefferson. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal, but nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. Very interesting and good food for thought, something good to think about as we make our choices, as our day settles down, and we make our choices about how we're going to start the next day. Tomorrow is Friday. It's a new day. We will have the podcast again tomorrow morning. I'll probably do it a little later again in case I can make it down to the beach. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy evening to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed chatting about sale yarn and new patterns and sneak peeks and chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.